All right, Shalom. Welcome back to a quick lesson. I'm giving all glory, praise, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Waharakakadash. All right. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit. Peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the elect, beginning with the 144,000, the servants, the prophets, to the rest of the one-third men, women, and children of the elect fold of the house of Israel. This lesson, man, I want to start with this priest I was just reading, and I was inspired to do a quick lesson. Wisdom of Solomon 12:16, for thy power is the beginning of righteousness, and because thou art the Lord of all, and it maketh, I'm gonna translate it in English today, it makes you to be gracious unto all. For when men will not believe that you are of a full power, you show your strength, and among them that know it, and among them that know it, you make their boldness manifest. Right. So people that, particularly men that are serving the Lord in truth and sincerity, starting with the head apostles of Great Millstone, man, you notice there's a boldness that displayed with the men of the Lord, like standing on the highways and byways, speaking, the confidence in our speech, how bold and how direct and how straight we are, and standing on what we believe. That's pretty much like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, the righteous are as bold as a lion. Because righteousness began with the Most High. When you read verse 16, it says, for thy power is the beginning of righteousness. And because you are the Lord of all, you make you to be gracious unto all. Yeah, because everything began with the Most High. So everything began in righteousness. So when men are moving in the spirit of righteousness, it makes them bold. And what the Lord does is he makes that boldness manifest when they're moving in that spirit, in that energy of the Most High, which is the spirit of righteousness. So that's why it comes off as bold. And one thing I was looking at the definition of bold, it said not hesitating or fearful in the face of actual or possible danger or rebuff, courageous and daring. And that's why the Lord, throughout certain things, and I got that picture, that visual of Yahweh Shai on the cross, because that was an example of someone who was being bold. Be of courage. Right? When you look at Numbers, Deuteronomy, when it came to us leaving captivity and going into, a new land for us at the time, which was pretty much our homeland, the land of Canaan, the Lord kept on emphasizing, be of courage, right? Numbers 13-20, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether they be wood therein or not, and be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now, that, you see it, Deuteronomy 31-6, be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For thy Lord thy God, he it is that goeth with thee, he will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. You see where I'm going. Joshua 1-6, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shall you divide for an inheritance the land which I swore unto your fathers to give them, or their fathers to give them. Because at the time you had the Canaanites still actually in the land, inhabiting that land, right? But the scriptures always, talks about being of good courage, meaning be bold. Be bold, not hesitating or fearful in the face of actual possible danger or rebuff. Why? Because, again, the Spirit of the Lord, his power, it manifests through your boldness, by you not being courageous, by you not being fearful, but by you being courageous, right? And that's what happened with Joshua and Caleb when they gave the report back. Let's get what that is, Numbers. All right, 13. 1 it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, send. Let me get the New King James, man. I can't do that old King James. It says, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. From each tribe of their fathers you shall send a man, every one a leader among them. Right, so these were the names: Shema, Shaphat, Judah. He sent Caleb. All right, these are the different names. Woo-de-woo. So let's go down. So let's get 27. Numbers 13, 27. Then they told him, and we started 26. Now they departed, okay, 25. And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. Verse 27. Then they told him and said, we went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are very strong. The cities are fortified. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. The Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains. And the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the banks of the Jordan. Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men who had gone up with him said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. See, so Caleb was in the spirit of the Lord. He was in the spirit of boldness, courageousness. And then the rest of them were not in the spirit. They was in the spirit of fear. So verse 31, but the men who had gone up with him said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied, saying, the land through which we have gone as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all people whom we saw in it are men of great stature. Then there we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak came from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. You see, and that's why Most High wasn't dealing with these guys. He ain't like that, because the Most High just delivered us out the hand of Pharaoh not long ago. At this point, from Pharaoh and his armies, with a mighty deliverance. And you think if he with us, he can't? He the one who told us to go spy out the land. You don't think he can, be with us to take them down? So jump to the next chapter, because this is what it did to the people. Numbers 14:1. So all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. And you can read the rest. But so it basically casted out doubt and fearfulness on the whole congregation. Right? So that wasn't an example of being bold. That was something else. That takes me to another one. I've been thinking about this one all day. Matthew 11:28. Nope. Matthew, what am I thinking, man? 7 maybe? Yeah, Matthew 10:28. And do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So again, going back to the definition of bold, not hesitating or fearful in the face of actual or possible danger or rebuff, courageous and daring. So that I had Yahweh's visual here is because he pretty much embodied that, in the face of being wronged, accused, conspired against. He remained bold throughout the whole situation. Like even the dialect with what's his name, Pontius Pilate, that whole dialect he had with him, was pretty damn inspirational. You see here, Matthew 26, the title says the plot to kill Yahushua. You see that? And he knew all these things. You got to keep in mind, like, it wasn't nothing going on that was a surprise to the Lord. He knew everything. He knew, when people were plotting in their minds. He knew what was going to happen. He knew what like, come on, man. He came here his whole life for this, and he didn't fold. You see, Yahushua handed over to Pontius Pilate. So Matthew 27, and let's just look at the a little bit of that interaction. Okay, Matthew 27. Let's get Yahushua faces Pilate. In 27 and 11. Now Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Yahushua said to him, "It is as you say, thou sayest." And while he was being accused by the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. He didn't interject. He didn't say, "You lying, low down, low lives, you vipers, you serpents. Most High gonna kill you." He ain't do none of that. It says that he answered nothing. He was bold. He was courageous. He didn't fold. It says, then Pilate said to him, "Do you not hear how many things they testify against you? Don't hear all these accusations, man. They saying you the worst thing since." Right? But he answered him not one word, so that the governor marveled greatly. Like, man, this man he ain't showing no emotion. He ain't getting upset. He ain't getting emotional. What? Yeah. So that's pretty much what I wanted to highlight there. But that's pretty much it, man. I just thought that after looking at that word bold, man, I just wanted to get an example. I was like, man, yeah, that's the Lord all day, man. He was bold. And he ain't the only one. You have other who was that? Oh, David. David is another one. David was bold too. When you look at what's that? First Samuel. Ooh, I don't remember. 1 Samuel 15. Somewhere around here. First Samuel, got to be 17. Let's try 17. That's what's telling me. Yep. 1 Samuel 17. David was in the spirit of Caleb. Caleb and was it Caleb and Joshua? And the rest of the group was in the spirit of the other tribes, of the other men, the other spies. Look at this. 1 Samuel 17 and 21. For Israel and the Philistines had drawn up in battle array, army against army. David left his supplies in the hand of the supply keeper, ran to the army, and came and greeted his brothers. Then, as he talked with them, there was a champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, coming up from the armies of the Philistines, and he spoke according to the same words, so David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were dreadfully afraid. Hey, and this shows you that there's always been that elect that's bold in the Most High, man. It's always been that elect remnant that's bold in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. And the rest, like, they some wussies, they unbelievers, It's always been that elect. 25, so the men of Israel said, "Have you seen this man who has come up? Surely he has come to defy Israel, and it shall be that the man who kills him, the king will enrich with great riches, will give him his blah, 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 blah." 26, then David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, "What shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Smack, who is this nigga? 27. And the people answered him in this manner, saying, so shall it be done for the man who kills him. Now Eliab, his older, I'm going to jump down. Jump down to verse 32. Then David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. Now Goliath is a 9-foot tall motherfucking army fucking hero. Military goon for the Philistines. And David is like 15 years old, man, talking his talk. Right? And Saul said to David, you are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are a youth, and he is a man of war from his youth. But David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion or bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck and killed it. Your servant has killed both lion and bears, and this uncircumcised heathen scum. No, I don't say that. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living God. Moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. Ooh, I'm going to highlight that and read that shit again. It said, verse 37, moreover, David said, the Lord, Yahweh, I see all caps right there, Yahweh, who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. David said that like he was going to make the Lord deliver. He said it with so much confidence and conviction, like I know the Lord going to do it. He said, I ain't even thinking about nothing not happening to me. I know he going to get me out of that. I know he ain't going to get me over to this damn uncircumcised scum. Uncircumcised scum. Say that 5 times fast. It says, go and the Lord be with you. And Saul said to David, go and the Lord be with you. All right, David. So Saul clothed David with his armor and put a bronze helmet on his head. He also clothed him with a coat of mail. David fastened his sword to his armor. Okay, anyway, but y'all know the story. It's getting kind of long now, but that's the story. So, you know what I'm saying? I was reading that scripture, and I'm going to close on that scripture. Wisdom of Solomon 12:17. For when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength. So, you know, you had those of our people who don't believe, and that opens the window for the Most High to show his power. That's why we at a time where there's more atheists, more unbelievers than ever. This is a perfect ripe condition for the Most High to show his power, you know, through his only begotten Son and his men. It says, and among them that know it, right? David, for example, Yahushua, for example, thou makest their boldness manifest. So the Lord, he put the spirit of boldness on them. You know, manifest means what? Obviously, clear, plain, right? He made it obvious. That boldness spirit become obvious. Why? Because they believe. They know he exists. They know the power. So that's going to trickle forth to the men of the Lord today. That's why you see the true men of the Lord stand in great boldness consistently. You know, not holding back. Because the Most High is going to show his power real soon when his only begotten Son and make the world see. So, you know, I pray that was edifying. I'm going to sign out here, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Until the next time, I say shalom.